Alright, first off, this is not a professional video. It's just something I want to put together so I can show you the operation of the choke and the fast idle for this carburetor. It's a Hitachi, and it comes with the Suzuki Samurais through the 80s before the fuel injection, and it's pretty good carb, but it is got some complex items about it. Okay, first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to show what people talk about bending, and they shouldn't be doing that unless they really know what they're doing. So one of the items that's always discussed is this lever right here to bend it, one way or the other. And all that lever does is kick open the choke when you're at wide open throttle or near. And you can see that this choke right now is closed because it's cold. And so if I will take and move the throttle around, you can barely see it hit this arm right down here, right there. And when it hits that, it will open the choke a bit. Let's see if I can do that with one hand here. See, watch now. See the choke open and close just a little bit? There you go. So that's the operation of that. And so what that does is lean out the engine, because it's being hard choked when it's cold, and it leans it out so you won't get sputtering and bogging because the engine is so rich in black smoke. Okay, so the next part of the discussion will be about the fast idle, and there's one adjustment for it, and it's not discussed in the manual, but it's right there. That's the fast idle. This right here, that one is the warm idle, hot idle. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to do is talk about the wax valve, which is right here. And what happens is, as the temperature of the coolant going in warms up, then this starts going down, and in turn turns this cam, which in turn opens the choke. Alright? So one of the problems that I have read that people were saying to adjust the RPM of the engine when it's cold is they want you to bend this, and that's not good. That's not the way to do it. Cold idle's done right there. So if you bend that up, it opens the throttle a little bit. And anyway, so when the wax valve is all working right, and you need to do a verification of the way the choke is working, then you want to warm it up to 77 degrees, and that will put that mark right there, that mark right there on the lining up with that. Okay, and you can read about that in the section where it says right here, 4 thousandths to 23 thousandths ambient temperature. And in that adjustment, they're talking about it right there on figure 4.148. Make sure the choke valve is almost completely closed, almost completely, and below 77. But then in the spec, they're going to say have it at 77. So that's what that is all about, to make sure that its clearance is right. And if it's not, then right here, if it's out of spec, then you put the pin in there and you turn the cam counterclockwise and you bend that tab. And I'm going to show you that here right now. Got to pause. So now you can see that I've turned the cam and I've got the pin lined up and everything. And right here, is where they want you to bend this lever. Up makes it the choke open a little bit, and down makes it go the other way. And you should never have to do that unless there's something going on with the wax valve, and I don't think we can even get a wax valve for this. If it is a problem, you'd have to change it over and go to a manual type choke or something. Yep. Okay, so next I'm going to heat it up and I'm going to get it to 70, or I'm going to get it real warm, and I'll show you how this activates and does what we call an advance of the throttle. And the time, what makes that advance is if you have an electrical load, the ECM will tell it to advance a little bit, and so the RPM will come up to compensate for the load on the engine. So I'll show that here in just a few minutes. I'm pausing. Okay, I'm using a heat gun to get the temperature to rise, but as I do it, it's impossible to see the wax valve moving down and turning that cam. It takes quite a while. You know, if your engine is cold and you start it, it takes a while for the RPM to drop down to idle from about 2,000 cold down to 900. And what will happen here with this cam is it'll rotate around, and then there will be no contact between this pin here and the cam, and it's at full-blown idle. Pausing now to get it warm. Okay, I've got it lined up here, and it's right there, so that should be the set for 77 degrees, and measure the gap here, and it is right at about 20 thousandths. I did it. I'm just showing you how I did it. Okay, pausing. Okay, the next thing I'll show you just a little bit here is for setting the fast idle here, and how it kind of works. And so I'll pause while I heat it up some more. Okay, I have fully heated it up, and you can see that the choke is all the way open, and the wax valve has plunged all the way down and kept pushing to the point where the cam has come all the way around, and it's fully turned counterclockwise, and that makes the choke open. Nothing else. That's it. The only other thing that can make the choke open is if the wide open throttle went around and touched the lever that I was talking about, which is right here now, right there, because the wax valve is heated up enough and the choke is all the way open, so this will not come around and touch it. So it's completely out of the picture once the engine has begun to warm up, and so just want you to understand that. All right, Next thing we'll talk about is the throttle advance vacuum assembly, and I was explaining how it worked a little bit, so I'll put a tube on there and pause here for a second. Okay, I'm just going to try to show you here with a little bit of vacuum. Here you go. Okay, that's about all I can make it do there. I can't quite get enough vacuum on it. I'm not a... Anyway, I think that pretty much concludes the discussion I wanted to have, showing how the carb works with those two adjustments. And hopefully this will clear up any misconceptions about those two adjustments. And I think I did point out that since we know that this is the hot idle, this is the cold idle, and inside of here is where the mixture control is, and you have to knock out that pin that's in there, and some people knock them out and some people don't. It's right in here, and that's California emissions for you or whatever. All right, that pretty much concludes what I wanted to say, and I hope this helps. Okay, bye.